Hi trader, this week we have interesting patterns in the Forex market on the euro dollar and pound USD. We're going to take a look at those and other pairs, of course. But first of all, be aware that this video is shown to a global audience, may not be suitable for everyone. Please take a look at animalmarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact an appropriate entity. Also, please be aware that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This video is for informational and educational purposes only. By continuing watching this video, you agree with this disclaimer and you are aware of the risk involved when trading. We start with the pound USD 4-hour chart, and we had a great break, of course, of this triangle, contracting triangle chart pattern, and we're now in a downtrend channel. On this 4-hour chart, you can see that probably a bit better on the hourly chart like this. Good angle, nothing wrong with that. Looks like a good continuation potential there for the pound to the downside. Definitely looks bearish as we look at this chart. We are, of course, approaching a bottom here, as you can see, and that is an important level for the downtrend. Price does need to break that before a bigger downside might be expected. If we look at the weekly, you'll see why, because when I look at these 5 weeks that have not been able to break this low, this bottom, I think that this week is crucial. If it does not break this week, or let me say it this way, if there's a doji this week or a bullish candle, I don't think this bottom will break anymore. If there is a bearish candle this week, there's still a good chance it will break next week. In fact, there's a good chance that it will break this week. Looking at these two bearish candles, I do expect actually this week to be bearish and to get a push through and lower to break that bottom. But if it doesn't happen, if what I expect does not happen, and I see a doji or bullish candle, then actually it looks like there's going to be a bigger consolidation. And there could be a double bottom of this low. So that is a very interesting thing for this week. And we're going to have to see at the end of the week how that looks like. But for the moment, considering these candles, I do expect to follow through and a retest of this bottom, if not a break of that bottom. So within this channel, the 4-hour chart, as you can see, I think a hook back to 130, the psychological level. On the hourly chart here, we can see that a bit better. A hook back to the top of that channel, we can see that it is around 129.70. 130, 129.75. I think those would be interesting levels for shorting with stop losses above this previous top and above the channel here around 130.50. So that's what I'm waiting for. Now, if it doesn't happen and price does continue to break this flag, there's kind of a mini flag here. And that could happen, of course, that price does not retrace that deeply. In that case, I would be looking for a breakout to the minus 61.8 target here and the bottom as well. I'll be looking for an hour or 4-hour candle that can break through these levels, close near the low. I'll be looking for a bit of a hook back probably like this, and then looking for shorts on lower time frames, like a pattern basically on lower time frames, or just a retracement here of this candle for a continuation down to the next target. As you can see, I'm using this fib. We just hit the first target, so I'm waiting for the break to the next target or the pullback, and then a bounce off that channel. All right, if we break that channel, if price does break above this bullish channel, then everything is looking differently. I mean, the bearish analysis that I have in mind is certainly invalidated, and could be that this week then will end up as a doji or bullish, and in that case, the continuation of the downtrend on the daily and the weekly chart seems less likely. For the moment, that does seem good to go, and I would expect to follow through. And in fact, this target, minus 61.8, could be a minor target, because if this really gets pace, if this really starts to fall, either because of the break or the bounce here, this could, once it breaks this bottom, it could fall even further, of course, down to the minus 100 target, to the minus 161 point target, and like this, bear flags after the break could indicate new ways of trading the continuation here to the downside. That's when the bottom breaks. Before we take a look at the euro dollar, be aware of these webinars. Nenet has his usual weekly FX recap with the major and the setups on those. Wednesday, his expert opinion. Tuesday and Wednesday, I take a look at new indicator called Admiral Keltner. Very interesting indicator, and we're going to discuss that Tuesday, Wednesday. And Thursday, of course, the Learning Lab, we take a look at new Heikinashi trading systems. So hope to see you in those webinars. I think it's going to be very valuable. Regarding the euro dollar, I think we're seeing a bullish break. We had price basically post a candle above this resistance trend line. This does look like a hook back to the 78.6 fib, and it seems like it's going to be bouncing. Now, if it fails to continue up to these targets, and it doesn't break this this top in today, I would say, or today or tomorrow, then it does look like there could be a bigger retracement back down. In that case, if price breaks through 111.30, I would shift and move the fib basically from this to here, and price could then in that case start respecting the 50 and the 61.8 and the 78.6 fibs, which still could be bouncing spots. Ultimately, if I look at the daily, it just looks like a very big consolidation. And on the weekly, in fact, I wanted to add this. This could be an A, B, C, D, E triangle. It could be a contracting triangle, and you can see that pretty clearly, connecting these tops, connecting these bottoms, and therefore you can see that this triangle is still in play. This could be a wave D. We had an ABC, and I thought that that could be the end of the consolidation, and price could continue with the downtrend we had before, right? But the thing is that this part is so choppy and is so slow in its movement to the downside that it seems more likely that this is part of the correction. In fact, you know, last 3 weeks, 2 bullish candles, this does not look like a downtrend continuation at all. Looking at these bullish candles, it looks more like a retracement or consolidation, in fact. So from that point of view, it does seem likely that this is a wave E, and wave E's should not break the top of C. So price could go up to test this top, but if it fails to break it, it could easily be a wave E, and then I would expect the follow through of the downtrend with a wave 5 after wave 4 has been completed. All right, so that is basically what I'm looking for at this moment, is the wave E of 4. So if we look then down to the daily, you can see that as long as price stays below that brown line, it is still basically more downside expected. But for the moment, correction seems more likely up to these targets here. I would expect price to move up to, and that could happen this week. So if you look down at the, just one more thing on the daily, by the way, and you can see that if I have a fib here, that price respected these fibs, and we're seeing bullish candles after that bounce. So this is not looking bearish anymore. This is actually looking bullish, and you can see that for the moment, today or tomorrow, I would expect price to continue. You can see bullish candles here as well. What I would expect actually at this moment is a triangle probably, and if price breaks above that triangle, there could be a good bullish breakout trade on the euro-dollar. And that, of course, certainly looking different than the pound USD, where it looks bearish with the euro. As soon as I see a triangle, or if I see a break above this top, followed by a bull flag, I would be looking for bullish trades. All right, regarding the others, dollar yen basically in a downtrend channel, but on the 4-hour chart we see a triangle. So is it going to break that triangle to the downside or to the upside? That is the question, I think. And I will be waiting for the break of either of the two. At this moment, I think a break to the upside might seem a bit more likely due to the weekly chart, where you see prices bouncing at the 50 fib. This is also week 5, so it's an interesting moment. If it doesn't continue below 100.75 or even 100 level, then this week, then I think a bounce is becoming more likely. If it does continue lower, then the next target is the 61.8 fib at 95. So this week important, if we get a follow through to 95, or will there be basically a bounce at the 50 fib, which we already had, but this is the hook back for a bigger bounce and a break basically above this channel. All right, so that's the question on the weekly. Is this a hook back, a weakness basically for a bigger rally and a break above that channel? So obviously that I think will be answered this week. If we get a break above the channel, that could be a huge move. But also to the downside, as you can see, if price breaks through the support line and breaks through the 100 psychological level and this bottom, there could be a good space down to 95 as well. Whereas if it breaks this resistance, that could be the first, and also this resistance, by the way, right here, that could be the first signal of more upside within this downtrend channel towards this level right here at 105. Last but not least, the Aussie is looking quite corrective. It is in the triangle 2, basically with a rising wedge here. So I am not interested in the Aussie at this moment until it really breaks out of this correction. So I will be sitting on the sidelines for the AUD USD. Well, thanks for joining today. Wish you all great trading and hope to see you in those webinars. Make sure to check out admiralmarkets.com for all the analytics, of course, and education as well. Cheers.